Have you been scared off from buying a house because rates have been frighteningly high? The Sharp Mortgage team in Winston-Salem can help make it feel far less spooky. There are many programs available now that can keep your mortgage payment from making you want to scream. You will dread it if you don't call for more information today because Halloween is right around the corner. With the Sharp Mortgage team, there are no tricks, and they will treat you and the zombies you love like family.
Jeff Crittenden, Greensboro, North Carolina, professional long drive world champion. I've won the Masters division in 2017, 19, 2020, 2024, and I won the 50 and over men's championship in 2024 also.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.
We'll get to your success on the long drive circuit, your road to recovery, back to the top of your profession after a bad accident, as well as how you became the critter that so many have come to know you and love you as. Well, let's start with the bio on the Robert Linville's Precision Golf School website, where you're one of the head instructors. You do some teaching there. At the end of the third paragraph, it reads about you, quote, "It's his job to hit the golf ball as far and as hard as possible while remaining within a very specific grid." I'll repeat. It's his job to hit the golf ball as far and as hard as possible. Did you write that? Because I might need to hire you to help me with my own promotion. That's awesome.
I'll take credit for it, but I don't know if I did write that or not.
I suppose there's no greater summation, though, of what it is that you do and maybe what you've been on the planet to do, right?
Apparently so, yeah. This was never an intent for me to do long drive in my life until someone made me do this. So, yeah, it's been a blast so far.
What's the feeling like, that rush from absolutely annihilating a golf ball, piping it, because, of course, you've got to keep it straight?
Oh, there's no feeling in the world. Like, back in World Long Drive days, I hit it, I could yell and scream, and they wanted you to create a show. Now for Ultimate Long Drive, I am a part owner, so I try and do my best to keep it down a little bit, but I am jumping up and down like a 4-year-old kid out there. So
that's an interesting point that I hadn't even considered in preparing for our visit here today. That's right. I recall these long drive contestants and competitors whenever I would catch a whiff of it on television. Yeah. And two, at the end of this interview, I'd love for you to provide some resources, literature of how people can follow and maybe, keep up with long drive competitions, whether it's through television, online, social media, what have you, because it is a fascinating watch, in a world of so many different unique sports that are branching out in so many different areas, and content is king, and inventory on television and streaming, it's almost unlimited at this point. But I recall seeing long drive contestants as just going ballistic after they hit the ball. So you've changed. You necessarily do not conduct yourself the way you once did in the near 20 years that you've been doing this.
Yes, absolutely. I feel that because I own a little bit of the tour, I try and I want to promote all the other hitters. I don't want to promote myself. I want the other hitters to promote. That's what we're here for. So I always let them yell and scream, get the highlights, and then, if I win, I win. So
okay. So you try to, with age, maturity, maybe,
yes.
and of course, having an ownership stake as well. Maybe a little bit more humility for you at age 53.
Absolutely. But there apparently, as I've been told, I have the critter hop, which I still don't know what it is, but everyone says I do it when I hit a good ball. So
the critter hop. Yes.
Critter hop. Yes.
I can visually see that.
Yes.
See that now. The reaction from folks around you. I mean, you've been doing this long enough. Maybe you've become numb to it, but maybe you haven't. Maybe that still feeds into the motivation and excitement and the euphoria that you might experience. It's got to be a pretty cool vibe that enhances the whole long drive fascination and setting when people react around you. You're like an entertainer of sorts.
Well, yeah, and you forget about it because, I hadn't won in 3 years or 4 years, and you forget how much the crowd gets yelling and screaming, and after you hit a ball, they're screaming and it's going down the middle, and it's definitely a rush that, I've never had in any other sport.
You may compete in more than a dozen long drive events a year, right? Or at least at one time. And how often is it you get out and actually play around. We were talking before we hit record, like, let's go out and swing it. But a long drive hitter who is known for hitting the ball a long way and competing professionally, how often do you get out and just play a regular round of golf?
Surprisingly, quite a bit. Before the car accident, my goal was to try and do 6 or 8 Mondays on the senior tour, but that hasn't happened. It probably won't happen.
We'll get to the accident here in a moment. One more question, though. Speaking of that golf game, what's your short game like?
I'm prejudiced. I think it's really good, but at times it shows up and other times it doesn't. But that was probably the strongest point of my game when I was playing professionally.
Well, there's other sanctioned events too that you're a part of, exhibitions, trick shot settings. A lot of information can be found at crittergolf.com and precisioninstruction.com as well if you want more information about Jeff Crittenden, the Critter, as they call him. You didn't need that short game, though, to claim any of your 5 world championships. The 2 most recently came at the end of September at the Ultimate Long Drive World Championship that took place across 4 days in West Columbia, South Carolina. You dominated both the men's 50 pro, that's 50 and over, and the men's 45 pro divisions with drives of 336.9 and 337.9 yards. But let's shift to a more serious mood now. And you've referenced the accident. I'm sure there were moments of doubt because you hadn't won in a few years. Moments of doubt over the past 2.5 years, especially after a nasty car wreck, that you'd be able to reach that stage again. April 1st, 2022. Take us through what happened.
Oh, I was driving home from my, I believe, first event of the year or second event of the year, golf outing, charity event. And I was driving home and I was heading around Raleigh. 40 was blocked. So they sent me on 64 or whatever it is. And this guy in a pickup truck wasn't paying attention, hit me doing 50 plus from behind, pushed me into a Suburban.
What kind of injuries were sustained? Everyone able, I mean, you're here talking with us now, but everyone able to walk away? Any broken bones? What can you say about the injuries sustained?
Surprisingly, if you saw the car, no broken bones, but I had, oh gosh, so many different issues between seatbelt and neck, back, knee. And I'm not sure how I hit my knee on something, hip. That it's almost too long to list. And yeah, I know at that point, getting out of the car, I wasn't thinking about long drive, but it did cross my mind that I may not be able to compete. Although I did call my friend and said I might be a little late for a tee time the next day. Not really thinking straight in my mind at that point.
Yeah, we know you didn't make that tee time. Well, it's amazing you were able to walk away. You can always replace a vehicle. I've been through some pretty nasty wrecks myself. I mean, it's traumatizing. It's shell shocking, and that trauma, while physical, and we can get to the recovery process, but the trauma mentally too, and that mental block that it might have created for you. Let's start first with the physical recovery. Take us through what it was that you had to go through, and maybe still undergo, or still maybe are reminded by certain aches and pains of what you went through 2.5 years ago.
Oh gosh. After the series of, about 6 doctor visits and MRIs and x-rays and, for about a month, I didn't do much of anything and then started slowly moving back. I've been going through rehab now for 2.5 years and I still have another appointment this week and probably will have appointments probably for a long time coming. The hip, and basically my hip is what hasn't healed or isn't going to heal. So, the other day, where did I go? I went somewhere and I had to take the cane because we're going up steps. So, yeah. So it's as good as it's going to get. I'm happy to be here, but I walk funnier than I used to, is what people tell me. So.
Have you pulled up to a competition or a golf course with your cane? It almost feels like you're the kind of guy that would have a little bit of fun with that.
Yes. I pulled up to a couple outings with the cane and the people running it absolutely love it. Because once it gets moving, it's okay. But it's the point where it tightens up and the damage that was done to the hip and lower back just begin to tighten up to the point where walking's interesting.
How challenging was that mental side of it for you psychologically to get in the right mind frame to say, hey, I'm determined, I'm resilient, I'm going to overcome this, I'm going to fight through. How difficult was that for you?
Well, it was, I've had a lot of bad injuries through my career, long drives. So I've always said I'm not going to end on an injury. So this one was really tough. I competed last year at Worlds and finished dead last in both divisions. And I was like, okay, that's a rude awakening. And so it was really difficult to get myself to want to keep competing. I'm sure anyone who competes don't want to finish last, especially if you've had success in the past. So it was really difficult to try and get over the hump to compete. And then I did a little event midsummer and I won it, just a little local. And so that gave me a little confidence that maybe I am on the right path for what I'm doing.
You referenced other injuries. What are some of these other injuries that you've experienced throughout your career?
I tore some ligaments in my ankle. I popped a bicep tendon. Oh gosh, I had
and these are during the swinging as part of the long drive, like your actual the art of swinging a club. These have happened.
Well, the bicep tendon did. The ankle, I might have been walking off the event, stepping in a hole, but I won't admit to that. Numerous muscle tears in my legs while swinging clubs and stuff. While turning, something pops and I'm on the ground.
Well, if we weren't on Zoom, I feel like you would slap me right now because I feel like I have a new life goal, and that is to swing a golf club so hard and hit a ball so far and straight that I rip this bicep right here. Like, yes. I would die a happy man knowing that I survived such an injury.
Yeah, I tell you what, you would probably want to rip something else because that was one of the more painful things to ever go back through.
That's wild. Wow. Oh, what a badge of honor, though, right?
Yeah, I have the scar, and everyone usually sees it in the summer, and they always ask questions about it. And I'm like, yep, my bicep, swinging a golf club.
As if, seeing you at the end of a dark alley, which would never happen, or in a bar, or rolling up to the golf course with your 5 championship belts proudly displayed, and seeing how you're built like an absolute tank. As if that wasn't intimidating enough, we get to hear a story of you tearing your bicep on impact of swinging at a long drive competition. So overcoming what you've had, winning 2 more world championships after suffering the injuries that you did, channeling that special kind of determination and resiliency that I talked about in the process of not quitting, and continuing the fight to get back to that world championship level of competition. What were those moments like then, a month ago, South Carolina, winning those 2 belts?
Oh my God. It was unbelievable. I can't say, every belt I've won has some special meaning, but these 2, I can't even put in words how special it was for me to get back on top of the sport, that I thought that this was going to be my last time I compete at Worlds, because, just from the past experiences the last 2 years, it's a struggle. It's painful, but yeah, now the World of Long Drive has me now for a long time.
Yeah.
At Dewey's, we celebrate every day, but no one celebrates the holidays like we do. Right now, it's the season for sweet treats at any of our 3 Triad area locations. In Winston-Salem at Thruway and Renolda Manor. Plus, one in Greensboro at Friendly Shopping Center. Easy holiday ordering is also available at local.deweys.com. It's also the season for raising sweet dough for your organization. Contact any Dewey store for information on how you can set up your own holiday fundraiser where 50% of the items sold go immediately back to your organization. Plus, holiday stores will be popping up from mid-November until Christmas Eve. In the Triad and beyond, these special holiday shops will assist in raising money for nonprofits, and the locations can be found by visiting Deweys.com starting in November. So make the holidays special for the ones you love and others with Dewey's Bakery, home of free Cake Square Monday all year round. Dewey's, celebrate every day.
It's time to get serious about your financial future. It's never too early, but it could be too late to get started. And that's oftentimes the hardest part, getting started. How much do I save? Where do I invest? Do I save for college or retirement? How much for each? And who do I talk to about it all? Okay, we'll keep things simple for now and help you answer the last one. we recommend you begin with a local financial advisor. And that's Jennifer Johnson of Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. She'll sit down with you for a complimentary introductory consultation and go over all of your questions. Get started on the path to achieving your financial goals. Visit 3magnoliasfinancialadvisors.com or call 336-701-1600. Get comfortable with your financial future. Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. Retirement, financial planning, and investments. Securities offered through Cetera Advisor Networks, LLC, member FINRA SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Three Magnolias Financial Advisors. Three Magnolias Financial Advisors and Cetera Advisor Networks are not affiliated. Cetera is under separate ownership from any other named entity. I want to take a quick break from this show to do two things. One, we'll say thank you for listening and supporting the Triad Podcast Network. Just listening to this episode is appreciated. Second, I want to ask that you support a local business that supports us as a presenting partner, a real estate company we trust, the Ginther Group, located in Winston-Salem. The housing market is moving fast. You need someone you can rely on to assess your situation, read the data and trends, and steer you in the right direction. Interest rates, inventory, new construction, there are so many factors that impact our local market. Don't buy into the national internet headlines. Get the information from the folks right here in our neighborhood. Contact Blake Ginther and the Ginther Group today. Whether you're buying or selling, have cash or not, or if your home isn't in the ideal condition for selling, chances are they have a solution for you. Call 336-283-8689 or visit theginthergroup.com. Buying, selling, investing, or just learning, whatever you need. Start now and, like me, you can become a Ginther Group client for life.
It's amazing. So fortunate. Let's pivot and talk more about your body in the best of ways, okay? Because I'm just fast. As a 35-year-old who's gaining on you quick, it feels like every single day when I get out of bed. I'm talking diet. I'm talking training methods. At your age, 53, what are the non-negotiables? What does a long drive competitor who's built like a fire hydrant already, but has survived so many injuries, and you want to limit those moving forward? What do you require of your body to maintain this level of productivity and keep getting up every day?
Well, surprisingly, my upper body is probably the strongest it's been in 20 years, 15 years. Because that's all I can really work on in the gym. I can do a little bit of motion and, I can't really walk any long distances or do any explosive training with the lower body. So I just try and do maintenance. So this hip stays to where it's going to be right now. And it doesn't get any worse in the short term. But I do lift some weights. I do throw some weighted balls. I do do some core, do anything I can to keep the body moving.
I love that. What about the schedule of swinging the club and hitting the range and playing? You had already mentioned you get out and play more golf than maybe one might think, knowing you're a long drive competitor. But are you on the range every day? Are you at the course? When are your off days? How do you schedule that sort of thing? Because I would imagine, recovery, it's just as important, mentally, yeah, but certainly physically for you.
Oh, absolutely. Well, in the summer, I probably do 60, 70 exhibitions in golf range. So that's usually my practice. If I'm heading into a world championship, in the past, I had a 6-month plan, gym and practice. This year, I actually had about a month and a half out. I started working on what I thought I needed to win. And I worked on that stuff on the range about once a week, and a lot of mental prep on the side, like at home doing dry swings, feeling the motion that I needed to make.
How the way you've treated your body, how has that changed, if any? And I'm sure it has with age. You've had to adapt and evolve. But since you started picking up a club and swinging it competitively the way that you have since 2006, and I'm curious how you picked up this racket too, but let's start with the change. How has the way you've treated your body changed over the last 20 years while you've been competing professionally?
Well, probably the first 10, I absolutely killed my body. I mean, I was in the gym 6 days a week, a lot of 2-a-days, a lot of outside speed training. I did everything I possibly could or thought to do to get better. Now it's kind of tailed off a little bit. I take more care of it, more icing, more, trying to prolong the body more than strengthening and get it fast.
Those first 10 years sound a lot like every day of my life right now at 36. So yeah, just doing bad things in my body that I know I'm going to be paying for. I'm going to have to probably work backwards, but hey, that's the man. That's the arrogance, the stupidity in you in a lot of ways. So
I agree.
How was it that you became a long drive competitor?
So I was up working. I was director of instruction for First Tee outside of Philadelphia. And it was at the same course happened where I started working. And the assistant pro, now the head pro, came to me one day and said, here's an 8-degree club. I want you to go do long drive. And I said, no. I know what it is. It's fun to watch. I can't do it. And he turned around and said, I'm not asking you. I'm telling you. So we talked for a little bit and I took the head.
Started with the First Tee program. And you're from Pennsylvania. You went to college in that area. Where was it you went to school?
I went to Millersville for 2 years and Widener for 2 years.
What kind of collegiate golfer were you at that time?
I was terrible. I played baseball. I made the golf team. I'm not sure I should say this. I played 3-hole. I walked on in the spring and I played 3 holes with the coach and I outdrove him by 100 yards all 3 times, roughly straight, put me on the team. Then he said, wait, what's your grade point average? And I said, it's a 3.2, 3.3. Yep, you're on the team. Apparently, our golf team had the lowest grade point average on campus of any sports team. So I was on there for one reason.
Well, you inflated that team GPA by a significant margin.
If any of your listeners believe that, but that is true.
And you also outdrove the coach by a significant margin.
And I outdrove the coach. Coach was about 5'2". That wasn't too hard.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love the baseball comparison because I actually thought about that the other day before we got together. I'm like, man, I was a baseball player first and foremost growing up and through high school. And, those dreams of becoming a Major League Baseball player died when I was sophomore, junior in high school. Yeah, I remember trying out for the golf team as well at one time, and I took my shoes off, and then I was told to leave because the golf coach had seen me on an adjacent hole because I was having that poor of a round. But when you mash a baseball, and I wondered if there was a little bit of comparison to you being a baseball player and hitting a drive, like can you draw any parallels to how much of a liking or how interested? You said you didn't want to have anything to do with the long drive when you were told to take that when you were in the First Tee program. But did that rekindle some sort of love for the way you swung a baseball bat where you were able to enjoy it and be willing to run that out?
Oh my God, yes. And when I got done, I got cut. I went to, after college, I tried out for a couple of pro teams. They cut me pretty quick. And then I had played, and about 5 years later, I started playing softball and baseball again. So I was still playing baseball all through my long drive career. Wow. So the similarities were impressive, although a little different in impact. I would hit some line drives into the other team dugout at third base because I put my golf swing on it. They got a little mad about it, but similarities of the two swings are very, very close.
So it is possible to put your golf swing on a baseball or a softball because
absolutely,
I'm told all the time, and many of the guys I play with, you're putting your baseball swing on the golf ball. And it's I hear it endlessly, but it can be the other way around where you can put that golf swing then on a baseball or softball. So the reverse engineering does work the other way. By the way, I've got a playoff game at Washington Park tonight in Winston-Salem. Win or go home for my men's league softball team, the Ballers. So instruction, precisioninstruction.com. There's also crittergolf.com, but precisioninstruction.com out at Bryant Park. Go to precisioninstruction.com for more information. The Critter is one of the instructors there. Give us a morsel, though. This is your opportunity to sell yourself in terms of teaching. Just what is the best little nugget of wisdom that you can provide? Because I imagine many people on the tee, most people, including myself, struggle because we're so laser focused on the results, right? On where the ball is going to end up and not the process itself.
Oh yeah. You got to trust the process. And if you trust the process, you'll get the outcome. As we talked about it earlier, if you played any other sport, even if, casual, whatever, it's the same motion. If you can put that motion into your sport, into golf, with the impact's just slightly different, you'll play golf so much better. I see too many people trying to overanalyze, overthink the golf swing, where they used to play softball or baseball or tennis, and then they put that motion on, looks 10 times better, and they get such better results.
This is the kind of instruction Critter can provide to help transform your game off the tee and beyond. I don't think I've asked, what is the furthest that you've ever hit a golf ball?
In competition, 491.
491.
Mm-hmm.
How does that happen?
It was in Kansas City in a thunderstorm. I'm guessing a little uplifting. But I hit it 60 yards plus out of the back of the grid. The guy found it, estimated it. And the guy we have walkie-talkies, and the guy on walkie-talkie was like, "Are you sure it's 491? I think he was trying to go to 500. And the guy goes, "No, I think it's 491. And then later he walked it off and said, "Yeah, I think it was like just over 500 actually."
When was this?
I was 45, so about 8 years ago.
Explain the format in, the cliff notes. We don't need to go through all of it, but for those that are interested in following, and let's say they find a long drive competition and they're streaming it and it's up, like what typically is the format for these things? I mean, you have all these different divisions, based on your age. You won the 45 and over and 50 over a month ago, those world championship belts, but there's male, there's female, there's I'm guessing based on your level, pro or novice. Take us through that, and then kind of the format once you get up there. Like, are you timed? We know you got to keep it straight on a grid, of course. But how would you best explain how these formats and tournaments are typically ran?
Yeah. So first, there's we have amateur, pro, women's, men, and kids. We had a lady that was 82, won a world championship this year. She came out, she competed. You have to qualify at any of our leagues that we have around the country, and to get to a world championship, you can't just show up and qualify to get in. And it's great. You have 2.5 minutes to hit 6 balls, and it is a all-day elimination process thing. So you just got to keep hitting them in the grid solid and moving on from round to round.
What's that logo on the polo that you're wearing? Is that your logo?
This is Shark Attack Golf. Not Shark Attack Golf. I'm sorry. Tattoo Golf. It's a company out of, I think, California. That's my logo on my hat.
Okay.
So they're kind of similar.
Yeah, your logo on your hat kind of has like a Punisher feel to it, does it not? Kind of like a half skull?
It is absolutely. That's absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay.
I saw it, found it. We tinkered with it a little bit, and I fell in love with it. So everything I have now has that skull on it.
So the Ultimate Long Drive World Championship is the event you most recently participated in, won the 2 world championship belts. Plug your stuff, plug, resources, literature. People want to learn more. People want to follow the sport more. Where can we get more information? What are the best resources on the long drive circuit? And two, in following, your continued competitions.
Okay. For long drive, ultimatelyongdrive.com, you can get all the information on it. If you want to go watch, we own Wingding TV, which is a streaming service. Anyone at any Apple, all of them, all you got to do is type in Wingding, free download. You'll have, probably 50 hours, 60 hours of long drive on there from all the events that we do. Follow me on social media. Jeff Crittenden, Critter Golf, Critter Power Golf. They're all about the same on every. Usually on Facebook more than anything else.
Yeah, that's Instagram at Critter Golf 25. You'll cameo on Twitter X as well at Critter Golf. But don't forget them online, crittergolf.com, precisioninstruction.com. And then spell the Wingding, because I'm typing it in right now. I'm seeing ultimatedrive.com actually will take you there too if you just type it in as it sounds. WINGDING. Is that right?
Yes. I did not name this, so don't look at me, but we named it Wingding, and it seemed to have worked. People love it. But there is so much TV on that streaming channel other than long drive. It's pretty cool.
Okay, awesome. And I love the belts, man. I mean, the images on social, your website. This is a family show, but I can't. Yeah, there they are. There they are. There's a couple, the most recent ones that you secured right next to you on the couch. But I can't think of any other way to describe them than as being that. Absolutely. And I might go back and edit that out just so Adam Wynn doesn't get upset with me. But
no,
well, I'll add the bleep. But they are awesome. That is amazing, man.
I have trophies. Well, it's funny. Most of my trophies are for long drive are in the back storage unit because we currently live in a small house. We're moving, but the belts are the best trophies I've ever gotten for any win, anything I've ever done. The belts are amazing. Everyone loves the belts when they see them.
The belts are so cool. They are so cool. Jeff, it's been a blast, man. Let's get out and swing them sometime. You're not far away. You're in Greensboro. I'm in High Point. We'll run into each other. We'll get up soon. All right, man. I appreciate you spending time with us, though.
That'd be great. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor to be on your show. And yes, let's definitely get out and play some golf. That'd be fun.
Hey, thanks for listening to this episode on the Triad Podcast Network. Our mission is simple: provide information, advice, and stories about the people and places that make the North Carolina Triad such a great place to be. You can find us by searching Triad Podcast Network on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, pretty much wherever you like to listen. If you like what you heard and want to support the show and those that contribute, we would truly appreciate a rating and review on your favorite podcast app. It helps spread the word along, as do your shares on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Triad Podcast. To get in touch with us, simply email info@triadpodcast.com. Thanks for listening.
This is the Triad Podcast Network.